Hello children, we are going to start with poem 2 from the book Hornbill, English Core Book for Class 11, The Laburnum Top. The poem, through attractive, scenic, and charming images, portrays the various moods of nature in autumn. The autumn season is marked with silence and calmness, but also has certain movements and sounds of its own. The poem is composed by Edward James Hughes, popularly known as Ted Hughes. He was born on 17 August 1930 and passed away on 28 October 1998. As a boy, he spent a lot of time on shooting and fishing and developed an obsession with birds and animals, which is evident in The Laburnum Top and in more such poems. Besides several volumes of poetry, Ted also published plays for children. He served as poet laureate from 1984 until his death. What is the message that we get from the poem? It is a bright September afternoon, a laburnum tree. We generally know this tree as Amaltas ka Ped. When the school reopens, we will show you two or three trees in the campus itself. One is right opposite the music room, a tree with yellow flowers. It comes to full bloom in summer months. Well, let's get back to the poem. A laburnum tree is standing still and silent with leaves turning yellow and seeds fallen down. There is nothing but a certain passivity, diffidence, mousiness around the tree when suddenly a bird with yellow feathers, we commonly know this bird as Sonchiraya, arrives on the scene like a lizard, hasty, sleek, and alert. The bird's entry changes it all around the tree, which comes alive and trembles with joy at the clamor created by the goldfinch and her chicks waiting for her in their nest in the tree. This is how we come to understand that life is all mutual. The tree has given a shelter to the bird and its offspring, its little ones, and the bird, with its arrival, takes away its dead silence, breaks the passivity, breaks the idleness around the tree, thus teaching us that life runs on the natural law of give and take. The poem Laburnum Top does not follow a fixed rhyme scheme, but it is a poem rich in the use of figurative language. So let's take a look at the rhetorical devices, that is, the figures of speech used in the poem. As you can see that with each figure of speech, its meaning has been given in the bracket, followed by the examples from the poem. To begin with, alliteration, the most common of all figures of speech that you people can very easily identify, the occurrence of the same letter or sound at the beginning of adjacent or closely connected words, for example, September sunlight. We come to simile, which is a comparison of two unlike objects, and the word of comparison, like or as, is used to identify. Example is sleek as a lizard, as we can see that an explicit comparison has been made between the goldfinch and a lizard. The third is metaphor, which is an implied comparison, a poetic device in which a poet compares two objects without using the word of comparison. There are examples like a machine of chitterings, it is the engine of her family, her barred face identity mask. Next is personification, again an easy one. We all know here human characteristics are attributed to inanimate objects, persons, or things. Attribution of a personal nature or human characteristics to something non human, or representation of an abstract quality in human form. Here, the example is the whole tree trembles and thrills. The next is transferred epithet, where an adjective which is not used with the noun it qualifies is used with another noun. We see the example here, her barred face identity mask. The flowers of the laburnum tree are barred, but here the word barred has been placed before the bird's face. Onomatopoeia, most commonly known as the sound words, the formation of a word from a sound associated with what it is named. And here the examples are chitterings, trillings, chirrupings, and whisperings. As you all can see, there are some more figures of speech here, so let's discuss these as well. At number 7, we have symbols or symbolism, where an object either represents or stands for another object. The first example is laburnum top, a symbol of peace and serenity, which is so vital for nature. Second example, yellow September, leaves yellowing, which is symbolic of autumn and passing age. Next example is goldfinch, a symbol of vivacity and liveliness. At number 8, we have hyperbole. Hyperbole is an exaggerated statement or claim not meant to be taken literally. The example is the whole tree trembles and thrills. A goldfinch and her babies, they can't make a tree tremble and shake. They do not have that physical strength, but their happiness on meeting each other, their joy, their music, their noise creating, it all gives one a feel as if they are making the whole tree tremble and shake. At number 9, we have allusion, where a writer makes a reference to a famous story, person, object, or event. The example is she launches towards the infinite. Here, infinite is the allusion, a reference to the sky that is limitless. One can never know the beginning or the ending of the sky. With this, we come to the stanza wise explanation. On slide 3, already the image of the poem has been put, but still, for a clearer understanding, you are going to hear the lines stanza wise followed by the explanation. We start with stanza 1. The laburnum top is silent, quite still. In the afternoon, yellow September sunlight, a few leaves yellowing, all its seeds fallen. The tree stands alone, almost lifeless and leafless, all its seeds fallen. The tree stands in a silent, quiet, and melancholy state. The yellow September sunlight indicates autumn time when the entire nature is yellowing. The seeds from the branches have already fallen off. We take the first two lines of stanza 2 here. Till the goldfinch comes with a twitching chirrup, a suddenness, a startlement at a branch end. This peace and silence soon makes way for a noisy hubbub with the arrival of the goldfinch. Her coming with food in its beak creates a hoo-ha among its chicks. She sits on the branch end in a watchful manner, picking her ears at any extraordinary sound denoting danger. We continue with stanza 2. Then sleek as a lizard, and alert, and abrupt, she enters the thickness, and a machine starts up, of chitterings, and a tremor of wings, and trillings. The whole tree trembles and thrills. It is the engine of her family. She stokes it full, then flirts out to a branch end, showing her barred face identity mask, assuring herself that there is no danger lurking around the tree. She enters the part of the tree with some foliage as adroitly and as swiftly as a lizard enters a narrow chink or gap in a wall. We now come to know the reason behind such alert movements of the goldfinch. She has her nest on a branch of the tree where her babies have been waiting for her to come and feed them. This nest has been built here to keep the babies away from any harm. They get excited to see their mother, chirrup excitedly, flap their wings feverishly, jostle against each other for the mother's attention and food. A fracas, an uproar gets created, just like a commotion gets created when one operates a machine. The orchestrated music of the goldfinch and her family echoes in the atmosphere, and because of the sudden movement of the birds, the tree appears to be trembling and swaying with the tones and notes going up and down. Just as the coal is fed into the fireplace, into the furnace of a steam engine, the goldfinch stokes them full. Means she feeds her young ones till their hunger is satisfied. After having done so, she comes out from the thick cover of the tree. Her face comes into full view. Distinct bars on her face and wings are a mark of her identity. With this, we come to the last stanza, stanza 3 of the poem. Then, with eerie, delicate whistle, chirrup, whispering, she launches away towards the infinite, and the laburnum subsides to empty. Knowing that she was the culprit behind the commotion, she makes delicate, gentle, soft, slightly strange sounds. These sounds can be interpreted that having fulfilled the task of feeding her young ones, there is a feeling of motherly satisfaction as well as a feeling of fear that she is leaving her offspring in a vulnerable state once again. But she has to go. She has to go in search of more food. And as mysteriously, just as it appeared out of nowhere, it flies away towards the infinite sky. Silence, passivity, calm, and emptiness once again prevail around the tree. And after this, you get to see some questions. I request you to practice those questions.